Good afternoon, everybody. Today's the first day of early voting. I voted. Voted for myself. I hope that counts. Anyway, I want to thank those that are voting for me or considering voting for me in the next 2 weeks. Texans, Americans, the world over, need good paying jobs to provide for their families. Since the 70s, our businesses, enabled by our politicians, have sent those jobs overseas that you need to provide a good living. So you've struggled and you've found ways to adapt, learn new skills and stuff like that. But then, beginning in 1990, our businesses, enabled by our politicians again, began importing a tidal wave of workers from other countries to take your jobs, to deprive you of jobs that you need to provide for your family. This has basically forced you down to working at the big box stores for the most part. And by that I mean Walmart and Home Depot and Lowe's and stuff like that, convenience stores, whatever you can find. Because, you got to live. You got to make a living. You got to provide for your family. Got to put a roof over their head. And it's become increasingly harder, which is why so many Americans are homeless. Now, the clueless out there and our politicians, they want to say all the homeless are druggies. Bullshit. I've never done drugs in my life, and I've been close to being homeless many times over the last 20 years. That used to be one of my greatest fears. These Americans, they need help. They need jobs. Yet no politician will stand up for them. Nowhere. Sure, there's some doing some token lip service right now, like Governor Abbott supposedly ended all the H-1Bs for 1 year. I won't know for sure if that's true or not until the next applications come out, probably around, I don't know, maybe I need to start looking. January or so. They come out every quarter. January or March probably the best bets. I need to dig into that. Then you got Paxton, supposedly fighting H-1B. He sent out 3 CID forms. You have to Google CID. I forget what it means. It's basically a form that person they sent it to fills in and explains their side of the story. So something may come from it, and something may not if they're all legitimate and above board. Now, I will say this. I watch Google Analytics fairly closely, and Senate campaign website is getting a lot of traffic. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. The problem with this election stuff, you can't tell until it's over. I do have a good feeling going in. I think we can beat these people. I think there's enough pissed off Texans out there that we can beat them. And we've reached a lot of them across Texas. But we haven't reached them all. That's my biggest worry. I'm hoping a lot of these people are going to the website, or people have never heard of me, and somehow or another they've heard of me now. And they're looking for answers. They're looking for solutions is what they're looking for. And you can't blame them. After all, they got a family to provide for. They need the ability to put a roof over their head. We need to bring our jobs home. Yeah, I know President Trump has said he's doing that, and these billions and trillions in investments are creating all these jobs. But they haven't created any jobs. Trust me, I follow the job number every month. I update something called the Presidential Job Creation Scorecard every month. So I look at it closely. And if it ever shows that he's creating these jobs, I'll let you know about it. Because I do believe in to the victor go the spoils, however they say it. But so far, it ain't happening. So you need jobs. The fastest way to get Texans and Americans jobs in America is to end the use of taxpayer money to hire contractors who do not hire Americans to work on the federal or state projects. In other words, if Governor Abbott goes out and he hires a company called Kamar's Programming Services, and Kamar goes out there and says, there's no qualified Americans available, so we're just going to bring our own workers in on H-1B visas. Old Virgil would stand right up and say, hey, bullshit. You're going to hire Americans or you're not going to get one single penny of our money. That's the way it should be. That's the only thing I'm running on. If we want to get American jobs up and running as fast as possible, we need to end the use of taxpayer money to hire contractors who do not hire Americans. I have no problem with them hiring Kamar's Programming Services. And Kamar brings in a team of 10 of us, 20 of us Americans, white boys, brown boys, black boys, yellow boys, and girls, like me or you. Have no problem with that, because that's creating jobs in America for Americans. It's when they refuse to hire Americans that I get my back up against the wall and say, bullshit. Now, any Texas state representative, leader, politician, whatever you want to call them, should have zero problems with what I just said there. But they do. Paxton's been known to go over some Islam university in India to teach them how to import more workers to Texas to deprive Texans of jobs. And he's had the money behind him of the Hindu Jewish American Congress, who, if you look at their website, are all Indians. He's apparently promised them something. No telling what. Hell, it might be your job. Have you thought of that? If you want jobs in America, in Texas, then you got to stand up for them, folks. That's really all I want to say today. I have voted for myself for the most part. Voted for that Doc Chambers. I voted for anybody whose name, Matlock, anybody's name I recognize from my conversation that believes we should create jobs in America for Americans. I voted for them. I started to leave every other one blank. But most of them are single office. They're not campaigning against anybody for local justice of peace and stuff like that. So I went ahead and endorsed it, signed them, whatever you want to call it, checked them off. But the ones that matter, the ones that will put you back to work, I checked them off specifically. I made sure of that. I hope they win. I hope I win. Because we need somebody on the American side, not America, because that consists of our businesses, according to Trump and everybody, and our billionaires. I'm talking about the average Joe Blow. Average Joe and Jane across America. The ones that need a job so they can put a roof over their head and pay the utilities and go to their church and attend their functions in their community and raise their kids. They need all the help they can get because they haven't had any. They've watched as their communities are changing. All this Sharia law and Hindu law and all this shit coming in, Israel shit and everything else. No, it's time to put America first. There have been those that have questioned me. What do I think about Israel? I don't know anything at all about Israel. However, I was a Navy sailor and I know about the USS Liberty. I have questions. So therefore, I will not give Israel a blank check. Period. What do I think about India? I have friends over in India I like. Enjoy talking with them. Here in America, too. And they know where I stand on this. I have watched as India, the people of India that have come over here, have discriminated against Americans in America. Those are the ones I fight. I believe we need more immigration. But this shit where we come over here and you won't help us, you won't allow us to have jobs to provide for our family? Bullshit. It's time for you to go home. Islam. What do I think about that? I don't know much about Islam. I've seen the stuff on Sharia law, and I don't like it, and I don't want it in Texas. This is America, folks. We believe in freedom, especially down here in Texas. I believe you're free to do anything you want to do in your bedroom. It's legal, of course. And by that, I'm talking all the gays out there and the lesbians and all this stuff. I don't care what you do in the privacy of your bedroom. But when you try to ram it down my throat, bullshit. That stuff belongs in your bedroom and nowhere else. What do I think about church? I'm a firm believer in church. I have questions with the pastors and everything nowadays because I hear none of them preaching about peace. Seems everybody wants to preach war, but nobody's preaching peace. I do have a problem with that. I have problems with a lot of the churches that are importing workers from other countries. Don't say it ain't happening because we got the data to prove it is. So I do have a problem with that. But I believe people need a reason to believe and to belong in their community, and the church is one of the ways. Same thing with their basketball and football and track and all that stuff, teams in high school and everything. It's all part of belonging to a community, which is part of belonging to a country. You don't want to see that change, especially for the worse. So it's time for us to end these non-immigrant guest worker visas. Somebody wants to come over here and travel and visit America, spend their money and then go home. Hell yeah, come on. Fork out your money, belly up to the bar. You want to force Sharia law on me? Nah, you're out of here. Bye. Same thing with this Hindu stuff. You want to force this stuff on me where you discriminate against me, where I can't find work for the last 23 years? Nah, you're out of here. Bye. Sarah Gonzalez had an interesting take on it. She wants them to come over here and invest their millions or tens of millions or whatever and create companies that hire at least 10 Americans. Hell, I'm all for that. But when you discriminate against Americans and put Indians ahead of the Americans, nah, you're out of here. Bye. And we'll keep your money. Thank you, by the way. Enough of that. I just want to let you know what's at stake here, because nobody seems to want to tell you that. If you think there's plenty of jobs in America and none of them are being sent overseas and no workers are being imported to take your jobs and everything's hunky-dory, you won't find anything interesting about me. If you're one of them that has lost everything or is close to losing everything, you'll be interested in my message. It's that simple. Now, what are we going to do about it? That's why you need to vote for me. It's right here. If you can't find good paying jobs, vote for Virgil Beersford, the jobs guy. vbsenate.com, vbeers@gmail.com is my email address. You can text me at 325-215-1886. Don't call me because I won't answer it. Get too many crank calls. I will try to respond to your messages. Unless you're like this guy earlier today, that comes out and attacking me, well then, you're gone. Sorry, see you, Charlie. Bye. But I will respond to all messages, unlike anybody else that's campaigning to get your vote. I make my own personal information available. You can give it a whirl. I'm available. I'm willing to discuss things. If you got a better solution, I'm even willing to look at it. But be respectful. If I think your solution sucks, I ain't going to advocate it. I want something that's better for all Americans in America. I want something that allows them to put a roof over their head, send their kids to school, they can tend to church or their beer joint or whatever they want to do on the weekend. I'm all for that. But if you're here to force people, throw them under the bus and run over them with a damn school bus or whatever, nah. Now you're out of here. Anyway, enough of that. I could use your vote, folks. Thank you.